We're chilling and we are on our way. So a question that I get asked literally all the time is, what camera should I buy? And I mean, like, dead ass, probably at least 3 DMs every single day for the past year and a half. What camera should I buy? I'm new to photography. I don't know what I need to get, what lenses, what cameras. So here, I'm gonna try and tell you the best I can as to what camera that you need for your specific situation. So I say that because photography and videography is whatever you are wanting to do, you know? If you're gonna be vlogging, the recommendations might be different. If you're gonna be doing more cinematography, recommendations might be different. If you're strictly a photographer, recommendations may or may not be different. So that's why it's hard to like answer the question as to what camera you need. So I'm gonna try my best to try and help you through that today. But basically, it just like I said, it just boils down to whatever you do. So for me personally, if you're just starting out and you want to strictly do photography, maybe some video here and there. Hold on, there's a school bus. I can't see anything. If you're doing strictly photography and you're just starting out, I would probably recommend a Sony a6400. That's what my brother currently has, and I actually used it recently from my video not too long ago. Damn, there's hella traffic. Last year, I got this camera, which is a Sony a7 IV. I love it. Literally not a single complaint with it. I'll recommend this to you soon. But where I'm trying to get at is my brother also last year got a Sony a6400, and that is like his entry level into photography. So he's fairly new. He's only been doing it for like half a year, I believe, maybe a little bit more, and he loves it. There's a few little complaints, but if you're a beginner photographer and you're just now getting into these things, you shouldn't have many complaints. Your only vision should be, how can I create cool pictures, you know? So again, my recommendation, if you're just now getting into photography, is a Sony a6400, and probably depends on the lens. Just rock the kit lens for the time being, but I'd probably recommend a lens. I don't know exact lenses. One that I currently love is a Sigma 16-28 contemporary. I used that for my video that I filmed yesterday, which was the what to buy a photographer. That was strictly filmed on the contemporary 16-28 Sigma. So these two combined is a great combo for any photographer in your life. I love that lens. Honestly, I'm gonna put it on my wish list, truthfully. But Sony a6400 and a Sigma 16-28. That right there is a little bit pricey, but that combo should get you anything that you need. The 6400 shoots 4K at 30, which is beautiful for a hybrid shooter if you want to shoot video at all. Insanely good for photo. Can I cut this guy off? So that would probably be my go-to recommendation for an entry-level kit. A6400 with a Sigma 16-28. Okay, shoot. And then my recommendation, again, it also depends on what you're doing, but also the budget. Yo! Are we good? Depends on the budget, but I recommend my camera, which is the Sony a7 IV. I've had it for about a year to the day, and not a single complaint. I'm trying to think if there's any. I guess you can be picky and say it doesn't shoot 4K 60 with no crop, because the a7 IV, it has 4K 60, but it has a small crop. But it's not that bad. And I almost never use 4K 60. I always use 4K 30, so it's like, what's it matter anyway? And if I need to use it, a little bit of crop ain't never hurt no one. So if your budget is like around $2,000 to $3,000, which is a pretty large budget, I'm not gonna lie. But if that is where your budget is, I would probably recommend this camera setup, which is the Sony a7 IV. And depending on the lens, it's honestly personal preference to what you're doing. But my favorite lens is what I'm currently using, is a Sigma 24-70 f2.8. I've had this lens again for about a year because I bought this combo recently, and my life dramatically changed as soon as I bought a zoom lens, because the photographer that I used to look up to, who got me into photography, he would always buy prime lenses and prime lenses and prime lenses. So that's what I did. I bought a 24 1.4, I bought a 50, I bought an 85, I bought a 14, but I just didn't buy a zoom lens because I thought primes were the way to go. Boy, was I wrong. When I switched to Sony after Canon, I was like, you know what, if I'm gonna switch to Sony, I just want one lens. And if I'm only gonna get one lens, I'm gonna try to get the most bang for my buck. And I'm gonna get a 24 to 70. It's 24, 35, 50, and 70 if you need that. But I'm telling you, my life changed when I got a zoom lens, because you can do everything with one lens. Yeah, you might not have 1.8, 1.4 apertures, but at the end of the day, it's the content that you make and the pictures that you make. It's just art at the end of the day. Whether it be a video, whether it be a photo, it's just art. And if you want to spend that much more money for a prime lens that's one focal length, that's going to get you a little bit more background blur or a little bit sharper. It's like, just buy a zoom lens. You're going to dramatically improve your life. Your life expectancy will go up, truthfully. Yeah, that's about it. Recently, my homie Matt, him and I have been shooting, and his B cam shooter is it's a Sony A6700, which is a little bit more expensive. I think it's like $1,000. I could be wrong, but he's been shooting with that recently, and that looks phenomenal as well. At the end of the day, Sony cameras, personal opinion, are the best. Granted, I haven't dug too deep in like Canon. I have a Canon EOS R, and that was the most recent Canon camera that I have. Actually, no, I had a Canon EOS R. Before that, I had a Canon 6D, and the 6D, cool for pictures, but that was about it. And then my EOS R, phenomenal for 2017 when I got it, but now it doesn't have autofocus. It has autofocus. It doesn't have eye tracking and face tracking and stuff like that. But nevertheless, the Canon cameras, in my opinion, they don't look good. I think the only thing Canon has going for itself is when you hold a Canon camera, it's smooth, it's nice, it feels firm in your hand, it's good. Not to say other cameras don't, but a Canon camera, it just feels so, like I could rub my hand all around a Canon camera and it wouldn't hurt. It's just smooth all the way around. It just feels good. But in my humble opinion, I feel like Sony is the better route to go. I could recommend a Canon entry-level camera, probably like the Canon M50 Mark II. Great entry-level. Get you an adapter, get you a speed booster, buy a lens, upgrade from there. But Sony, in my opinion, Sony has it on lock. They haven't changed the Sony mount in God knows how long. I can put this exact lens on my brother's camera, and I actually did. I swapped me and my brother's cameras, the lenses on them for my recent video, and it just works. You can mount everything, you can fix everything, you can use lenses that are kit here, and everything's interchangeable. The colors, in my opinion, look phenomenal on Sony. A lot of the shit that I post on YouTube is pretty much just raw footage with a very little luck to it, and maybe changing the white balance. Aside from that, everything is pretty raw out of camera. So I just love Sony's. The past year has changed me, truthfully. I used to be a Canon boy. Like I was ride or die Canon. And then I switched to a Sony and my life changed. Truth be told. But the main question here was, what camera should you get if you're starting out? I personally recommend the Canon A6400, and the lens to go with that, aside from the kit lens, would be a Sigma 16-28 contemporary f2.8. Beautiful combo. That's what my brother is currently using, and I borrow that lens occasionally because I want my own. I think it's awesome, and I need to get over. And then my recommendation for a photographer that has a bigger budget would be this exact setup right here, which is a Sony A7 IV with a Sigma 24-70 f2.8. Beautiful, love it. I do want a wider lens eventually. I want to get like that 16-28 or like a 10mm or something stupid, because I love how wide angle looks. I think wide angle lenses look very fun and creative and cool. And then eventually I do want to get a 70-200 or a 100-400. 100-400. My homie David has that. Oh, that shit looks nice. One of my videos, it was the Detroit Grand Prix. All the B-roll I shot with that lens because I borrowed David's lens. So much fun though, so much fun. The problem is, I don't be making any fucking money, so I can't buy this shit. The video that I posted literally yesterday was what to buy a photographer 2024, and I think this is hilarious. It's literally a foldable table, like you know, like a foldable eating tray that you have at home. I put an IKEA desktop on top of that. It's just wobbling. If you look at the video, the table wobbles every time I like move my arms. And then I just have technically two lights. I had one like $20 Amazon key light, and I had my $70 little portable light, which you don't even need, but I had it, so I was like, I'll just use it. And the top down, I love this one. In that video, the top down shots, there's like, it's like green and then blue and then purple and then red when I'm showing off all of the products. That's literally colored paper. I had an idea for the shot. I wanted to get a shot like similar to how Marquez Brownlee does his shit, like MKBHD, because I loved his top down. So I want to do a top down similar to that. But I don't have giant rolls of fucking paper. But I have Meyer, that's right down the street, and I just literally spent $5 on some colored paper and just set them next to each other and then filmed. And all the shots you can see there's a line straight down the middle, but I was like, fuck it, who cares? But what I'm rambling about is basically like, you don't need crazy gear. You can do a lot of shit with just your brain, bro. Like if you have a vision, just execute it the best as you can and then move on. Like 2 years ago, I didn't have this camera setup. I had a good camera setup, but it's kind of shitty. I'm rambling. Moral of the story, if you're an entry level, A6400. If you have a bigger budget and want to be a hybrid shooter, the Sony A7 IV, which is this camera right here. That's what I recommend. I can't guarantee it'll be exactly what you need it for because I don't know what you're shooting, but it works for cars, portraits, landscapes, anything under the sun. It doesn't work with macro. I mean, not many people shoot macro photography, but I think it's a little bit more niche. But yeah, hopefully that helps. A little bit of a deep dive in my brain to try my best to answer the question I get all the time. What camera should I buy? What camera should I buy? Whatever works best for you, bro. It's hard to answer that. If you love Canon and your brother has a shit ton of Canon lenses, maybe buy a Canon camera. If you have done so much research and you love how Sony colors look, figure out your budget and then find the Sony that works for you. It's hard to answer the question, you know, but that's my opinion, and hopefully that helps, and hopefully you know what to get. Hopefully you know what to put on your Christmas list this year to ask Santa, because Santa be making shit, truthfully. Truth be told, Santa be making shit. I just work here. If you have any other questions, drop them down in the comments. Maybe we can do another little car talk and I can tell you everything about it. But yeah, that's the end of the video. Peace.